Okay, so I bought this 2007 Lexus LX470 to use as an adventure vehicle. And the first thing I did was I had the windows tinted rather dark from the rear doors all the way back. And then I set up a way to put a twin bed in the back, 8-inch mattress that I got at Costco that works pretty good. And I came up with a rather simple setup. I didn't want to remove the rear seats. I removed the third row seats, but the rear seats I wanted to keep in place, and I wanted this to be easy to remove from the truck when I'm not using it. So I came up with a method to have a frame out a platform and then have an extension piece that bolts onto the front of that allows me in effect to have a twin size bed. You can see the one platform there, and then the other piece goes in front and just bolts on with 2 bolts and lays right on the folded down seat, the rear seat. And then I can leave the one rear seat up, passenger side rear seat up, and that's how I get in the car, take off my shoes, and then climb into the bed. And you'll see more detail as we go by. And this allows me to have a window cracked and not let bugs get in. So again, all of this is very simple to set up. There's the, they call these a battery generator, but it's basically a battery with a bunch of plugs and so forth. You can charge with a solar or with the vehicle. And this one is a relatively affordable unit, and it will keep my refrigerator running for days without any recharging from the solar panel or the vehicle, which is what I mainly wanted it for, was to keep the refrigerator charged. And then maybe during the day, if I'm driving a long distance, I can be charging it with the car, and I can cook something also in the back. And there's a solar panel, 300 watt, that I put on the roof, and I use these clamps to clamp it to the luggage rack. And this way, this also can be quickly and easily removed from the vehicle. And the way I fished the wire in also can be removed, and I didn't have to drill any holes in the vehicle to achieve that. So I'm pretty happy with how this whole setup worked. And with 300 watts with a good, oh, by the way, there's the toilet I can use. I can sit in that in the back of the car and use the toilet. So that's always important. But anyway, there's my Hamilton Beach commercial bar mixer, which will run off of that battery generator gadget, and I can grind up oranges for orange juice or whatever. And you can see there how I fished the wire for the solar down and got it into the vehicle to be able to charge it with solar when I'm parked somewhere or whatever. Or when I'm in motion driving, I can charge it. And so there you can see the 5/8 inch piece of plywood that I then would slide that forward and bolt it down. And I got wing nuts for those instead, so that I can hold it with my hand underneath and just tighten it up. And just 2 bolts, I can take that piece out, and then the rear piece comes out very easily. And you see there, everything ended up nice and level. And then I've got some storage underneath. The reason I made that platform is because the rear seat folded down. You have to have the platform in order for the bed to be level. And I wanted a full-size twin bed in the back. So, and that Presto cooker, I can cook oatmeal. I can cook various things in the back of the vehicle while I'm driving and charging this EcoFlow, and I can slow cook a meal to have for dinner at the end of a long drive. There I cooked some oatmeal in it, and it worked fine. So this is the cooler that I got. And again, it fits in the back very nicely without any major modifications or anything like that. Again, I wanted this whole setup to be able to be put in the back of the car and removed easily, because most of the time I'm not using the Lexus as an adventure vehicle. I'm using it as a normal vehicle, and so I didn't want all this stuff in the back all the time. So you're going to see towards the end what it looks like with the refrigerator in there and everything in there, and it all fits like it was made for it. So I was pleased with the end result of how this all came out. And I'm also pleased with the quality of all this gear. This refrigerator and the EcoFlow unit there all seem to be very high quality and will last the test of time. This refrigerator has you can have a freezer and a refrigerator section. You can independently adjust the temperature. And here's where I was bench testing it to see how long it would keep that cold without any recharging at all. And it did a really good job for like more than 2 days. So this is the material I got to make, to black out the windows. And you'll see a little bit more of that as we move through the photos. This is a USB powered fan you just saw. And there's the amount of time I went, 47 hours. And there's after the tint job on the rear windows. It's very hard to see inside. And then if you put these in the window, then of course you can't see inside at all. It's totally opaque. But most of the time I wouldn't even need those. There's the bed. It fits in, and the door does shut. Everything shuts, but it does fit in, and it just fits in. I mean, you couldn't get, it couldn't be any bigger than that. But that's an actual twin size mattress, and worked out really well. Then I made the platform on the right there to put the refrigerator on that, because there was the little wheel well there that I had to get a flat area. And there's that USB fan actually working in action, and it uses very little power, but it moves a lot of air. So that's going to be a good option for keeping the car cool and comfortable on a warmer day when you're trying to sleep at night. And it makes very little noise, and again uses a small amount of energy. So 2 big thumbs up for the USB powered fan. So all in all, I'm happy with how everything turned out. Let me know in the comments what you think.